So as I speak right now, there's been a huge house cleansing taking place, not only within our Milky Way galaxy, but within other galaxies in our universe. And from what I understand, even in other universes, there's been a huge cosmic house cleansing. And guess who's leading the way in these galactic and intergalactic house cleansings? The super soldiers of the Earth. Yes, the super soldiers of Solar Warden, the ultra soldiers of Radiant Guardians have been cleaning house not only within the Milky Way galaxy. We have stations everywhere, guys. We've been fighting these negative regressives by using our super soldiers, because we are the most powerful. Once they enhance our genetics, we're literally like these superheroes on Marvel movies. We're literally like the superheroes of DC. When our dormant DNA comes on, and they do have the technology to activate some of this DNA, which is very similar by stimulating it with the gamma ray frequencies that are coming in from the galactic core. But of course, they put these people in certain chambers where they blast them with this galactic gamma ray energy. The dormant DNA comes on, and then that's how they're able to use these enhanced humans to go fight these alien wars. And so a lot of our super soldiers are actually the heroes within our galaxy, and those that are working within the off-world program known as Radiant Guardians are actually the heroes within other universes. So due to their house cleansing, guys, there's a huge intergalactic and cosmic jubilee that is taking place right now, where the entire universe is undergoing tribunals. All the negative regressives are getting arrested at this time. So there's a huge house cleansing that's been going on, and it's eventually going to trickle down here to the Earth with the final arrest of the Cabal, which is the only evil that is left in the universe. All the other evil out in space has been dealt with. And that includes cleaning up all the bases, making sure that there's no negative regressives in our moon, because the moon is an artificial construct, making sure that we don't have any of the interplanetary infrastructure lurking with negative entities. Prime Areas, which is the main colony in Mars, has been cleaned out fully. There are no more regressive or those that are part of these negative groups. They have been completely cleaned from our solar system. So the only evil left that is still lurking is the evil here on our planet, and they are next. So that's the great news.
We love it, Ismael. Before I lose my train of thought, Kristen, I want you to have a follow-up question to this. I was watching, you guys go ahead and follow Ismael on Instagram, absolutely hot content that he was dropping. I know his paper book version of The Cosmic Origin has come out. We're going to have all of that in the description of this video. And we'll also have his Instagram link in the description of this video as well. Ismael, I was looking at your Instagram, and you kind of did an update today about kind of like upgrades like to our DNA, or upgrades to like our intuition and other things like that. Is it kind of safe to say, or would it be accurate to say, like with all of the cleaning up going on in the galaxy, Mars, space, the moon, that we are now feeling the effects of that jubilee, of that kind of restoration, and now that kind of energy vibration is coming down to Earth. Therefore, the DNA is being upgraded, and so on and so forth. Do you want to touch a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Jason. Due to the house cleansing that's being conducted out in space, it's definitely alleviated a lot of the darkness and dense energy here on the planet, and that kind of reflects on the fact that the Alliance have finally pinned down the rest, the last residue of evil. And so it's just a matter of time now. The genetic upgrades are still in the way. They're still in progress. The solar flash is nothing's going to stop what's coming. The exaltation of humanity is upon us. And yes, the starseeds, the celestials that are in human form, are going to be the ones that are going to be upgraded to a high level of genetic material usage, to the point where they're going to be like superheroes. However, for the Earth Terrans, or those that are not starseeds, those that are of the younger souls that are evolving from the bottom up, they're going to still be exalted or upgraded, but in increments. So it's going to be interesting how things unfold in the next few months. We'll see. But yeah, things are definitely looking like the Earth is about to get liberated pretty soon.
We love it, Ismael. I could feel the effect. I know our Soul Tribe feels the effects too, just reading their comments and the questions that we've been getting. So it's all kind of making sense. It's all coming full circle, 1,000%. Kristen, do you have anything that you would want to add or ask Ismael regarding the DNA upgrades or the cleaning up of the Cabal?
Yeah, the cleaning up is definite. It actually goes along with astrology right now too. So that's right on for sure. as far as like upgrades and all that, that's definitely happening, and seeing that in the personal readings. Also, health and wellness, how someone takes care of themselves. Like, for instance, like alcohol would definitely keep someone from ascending. Is that, how do you, what do you think about that?
Anybody that is consuming too much alcohol and or taking drugs or even cigarettes, it does impede in the ascension. The whole purpose of our ascension is cleaning up our body so that we could become less dense, so that we could be able to absorb more of the light frequencies that are coming in. And definitely, alcohol is a no-no. I understand. If you guys drink a glass of wine occasionally, it's fine. But if you're drinking every weekend, and you're getting drunk, then obviously you have an addiction.
Yeah.
Or if you're drinking a few times a week and you're getting buzzed, then you have an addiction. It's your body's being used by parasites or archons that are actually feeding, and that's what really feeds the addiction. It's when people are intoxicated, they become open vessels to these negative entities, and so it's best to clean up the act. If you are going, if you are experiencing some sort of an addiction, this is the time to clean up your act so that your body can be a clean vessel. So when the solar flash takes place, you can have an easy, smooth ascension.
I love it, Ishmael. Great question, Kristen. Great question.
Yeah.
Do you have another follow-up question to that?
Yeah, I was just thinking about all that. Got to get all the toxins out for sure. But yeah, very, very good. I agree, 1,000%.
I love it, Ishmael. Our Soul Tribe is absolutely loving this as well. There was another question here, and this was coming from one of our Soul Tribe guys. If you have questions for Ishmael, go ahead and send them in. We do have a few, so I did star them. I marked them. But here's from Ken. Ken says, "Are the bots still walking among us?" And I did see you on the Tom Numbers show. And can we talk a little bit about the synthetics and how many are on Earth, and kind of what role do they play while they walk among us?
They're kind of like the Agent Smiths of the Matrix. They're soulless, they're synthetic. There's currently over 300 million, a little over 300 million synthetics. And most of them are actually infiltrating us. They're alien AIs, rather, that are working with a collective known as the Animus. And so that's pretty much the AI collective that all universes have been fighting, including the central race of the Motherverse, the always existing realms. So right now, currently, there's still over 300 synthetics, and their elimination will be the solar flash. The solar flash is going to nuke them. It's going to nuke them because we're going to go on. We're going to be going from our current level of using energy to a different, higher level of using energy. It's almost like our electromagnetic field is going to be shut off, and then it's going to be turned back on, but it's going to be a different form of energy where these bots or these synthetics can no longer exist. And so definitely the solar flash is going to be like an EMP that is not only going to eliminate the synthetics, but it's also going to neutralize the nanobots in people's bodies.
Wow.
Now, Ishmael, what do these bots look like? Are they pretty synthetic where they have, of course, like human flesh? Do they have emotions? Do they have feelings? Are they manipulative? Like, what kind of characteristics would a bot have here walking among us?
Well, they give the facade of looking human, but they're not human. They're not made out of flesh and bones. They don't have a soul. I hate to use this word, but in a way, they're androids. They're androids that are walking among us.
Wow, yeah.
Here's a pretty good question. It's along the lines, I want to say, like on this DNA, cleaning up the cabal, raising the vibrations, and then, of course, the ascension. And then we'll get into some other hot content as well. Here's one from the King of Cups. Will our junk DNA finally be reconnected anytime soon?
Absolutely. I hate to use the word junk. That's the term that the conventional scientists named it. I would like to call it our God-divine DNA. Mm-hmm. That's where our infinite potential lies. That's where our immortality is. And so because of the fact that we've been reduced to only using 4% of our full genetic material, tells us that our potential is greater than every other species and any extraterrestrial out there. And they all know that, guys. They all know that. That's why the benevolent galactics traveled back in time in order to create these benevolent off-world programs that were going to, nip the galactic and cosmic wars at the end of the Great Cycle, which is now.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Our dormant DNA is getting ready to turn on, but not everyone's going to be using the same potential. Depending on how old your soul is, the oldest souls are going to be using more. There's going to be different levels of upgrades, as it was during the times of Atlantis. To give you an example, during the times of Atlantis, we had humans, we had mortals, we had wizards, we had demigods, and then we had the gods and goddesses, right? So there's like 4 different stages of beings, right? Gods and goddesses being, the most powerful, the Olympians. Underneath those, you have the demigods. You had Perseus, you had Hercules, you had Theseus. Underneath those, you have the Gandalfs, right? The wizards, like the Gandalf figure of Lord of the Rings. And then underneath those, you had the witches, the healers, the psychics. And then underneath those, then you have the average person who had no abilities. So it's going to be like that again, but except it's going to be a world where everybody lives in harmony. And the new set of gods and goddesses, who are really just the starseeds, that are going to be using 100% of their genetic material, are going to have the biggest heart, and that's why they're going to be the most powerful. And from what I understand, they're actually going to make sure that everybody else is in alignment with harmony and balance.
Nice.
I love it. That makes a lot of sense, and thank you for clarifying that for the Soul Tribe, Ishmael. We absolutely love it. Getting a lot of love from Ken. Ken says, "Love it, Ishmael," as well as
Thank
everyone.
You.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
here's one about the solar flash from Dawn. The radiation from the solar flash. Is there going to be radiation from the solar flash, and will that possibly harm not the androids or the bots, but the light workers?
No, it's actually going to uplift the light workers, guys. It's going to turn on our DNA. The only people that have to worry about some sort of negative effect are the wicked and the bots. But other than that, guys, this is... Okay, so for the first time in the history of our universe, the entire planet is ascending. What we're approaching is planetary ascension. So the righteous are going to be exalted, and they're going to be polished, right? They're going to be upgraded, and the wicked are going to be removed. So other than the wicked, guys, we have nothing to worry about. No.
Nice.
Love it. Kristen, do you want to add anything to this?
Sounds good to me. All the wicked be gone. Yeah, wipe them out.
Yeah, I love it. Of course, yeah. And here's one from Kathy. I know it's going to happen in a twinkling of an eye, and not everyone. I don't know if anyone knows exactly how it's happened. If they remember the last solar flash, I don't know. But will we actually see the flash occur?
Well, it's not going to be a visible thing. It's going to be a transformation of human consciousness. So right now, we're only attuned. Our perception is very limited. We could only see into the 3rd dimension, length, width, and height. When the transformation takes place, as our dormant DNA comes back on, our pineal gland and our pituitary gland are going to also activate, and the other parts of our brain that we currently don't use are going to come online, giving us access to more realities, other dimensions. So that's how it works. It's going to be in a split second, yes. It's going to be spontaneous, but it's not like we're going to see a white light from the sky. No. It's going to be a shift in human consciousness that's going to take place like that. And when that happens, it's going to be a different world. One of the things I like to stress on is that we're not going to be going anywhere, guys. The 5th dimensional Earth is already here. It's all around us. It's just in a 5th dimension. We're currently been programmed to perceive and interact within a very small limited range of our full energy spectrum. So as we use more potential, more genetic material, our mind is going to expand. And then that's when we're going to become multidimensional. And then that's when we're going to see the new heaven on earth, which has always been here. It's all around us. All the dimensions are all around us. And this has been proven through quantum physics. It's called the theory of, or what they call the superposition. The fact that all the dimensions are all occupying the same space at the same time, but the only reason we don't interact with them is because we're only tuned into a small fraction, or what we call the 1% out of that 99% of the full reality spectrum. I explain it better in my book. I think I dedicate a whole chapter to explaining the light energy spectrum.
Is that in the new version of the book, which we'll have the description in the video?
Yeah, this is the hardcover, and right now I'm actually dropping the price to only $12 for the paperback, which is this one, the new edition. It's a purple book, and that $12 price, $12.12 lasts till Wednesday, so it's only a 3-day discount, half price for those that order it in the next 3 days.
Awesome, and I believe that's on Amazon, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have that in the description of the video, the link. I know one of our guardians in the chat has already linked it, and that's gonna take you right to the page there on Amazon. Absolutely, very generous for Ishmael to have it half price today. It's here it is. Thank you, 17Q Ranches. 3 days only, 12/12. Link is gonna be on the website. Amazon link too, long for YouTube. So. Guys, go ahead and go to ourcosmicorigin.com, and then you'll also find the link to the book there. Thank you so much, Ishmael. You are dropping hot content left and right, 1,000%. Kristen, do you want? I have different avenues in which we can go, but I would like you to maybe lead a section. What kind of question would you like to ask Ishmael this evening?
I actually would like to know about the book a little bit more. Let's hear more about that. Because I know you just did a book tour and everything. Is there a lot more? There's probably a whole lot more information in this book.
Oh, there is, Kristen. Not only did I add an additional chapter, which reveals what happens after the ascension into the future with the star seeds, but I also remodified the entire book. I rearranged it, not only corrected the grammatical errors, but rearranged it where it's more digestible. It actually reads where even a 10-year-old could understand it. So I completely rearranged the entire book. So when you guys read this version, I simplified it. I'm not using huge concepts, but yeah, it's still the same book. I'm still revealing the same information, but it's been very simplified. And again, that added chapter, guys, it is mind blowing. It's all about what happens after the ascension.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah.
Thank you. And I will be continuing my book tour sometime in March or April. I'm going to be going to the different other states that I missed, of course.
Yeah, you got a lot more states to go. Yeah.
I love it, Ishmael. We're going to have Ishmael's link to his website. That's where you can find all the information, including his book. I know his other courses, and then as well as his tour that will be coming up sometime this spring. So, guys, look at the description of this video, and that's where you guys can find all the information related to the Mystic Warrior, the Galactic Warrior, Ismael Perez, 1,000%. Ishmael, here's a question regarding kind of more about the weather. This one's coming from Real World Witness Chrissy. She says, "Hi, Kristen, Jason, and Ishmael. Here on the Washington coast today, I noticed the break in the waves are actually sideways, left to right. Is that unusual, and does it mean anything, Ishmael?"
It could be. It could be. Right now, as I speak, even the moon. Remember, I was telling you guys how the entire solar system has been cleaned out from all the negative regressives. And so Solar Warden has taken over the entire infrastructure, all the bases, all the colonies within our own solar system from the negative regressives. And so even the moon perhaps is in a different position due to the house cleansing. It's been going on in our local neck of the woods. And so that's probably causing, different movement in tides when it comes to the ocean. Because after all, the tides of the ocean are a result of the moon's reflection, right? And the energetic interaction with the earth. And so that could be the case.
All right. I love it. Yeah, the moon is definitely driving a lot of people crazy. I know it's a pretty heavy moon. I know we are in a retrograde as well, as it pertains to a lot of different stuff happening. And I know this is probably a generic question, but like as people ascend, and this is kind of what this is just my theory. I want to get Ishmael's theory on here as well. When we had, back in, what the event that happened in 2020, we won't necessarily have to call it by name, but we all know what it is. Was that like a global cleansing, almost like a purge of kind of separating individuals who will be ascending and not ascending? Because a lot of people went through breakups. I went through a divorce because I was, on my ascension process. She's in the 3D, if not 2D, if you know what I mean. Ishmael, epic call on my ex-mother-in-law. You nailed it, brother. You nailed it. But maybe talk a little bit more about this. We know, the country was shut down and other things happened and people did lose life. But was that kind of like a purge?
Absolutely, brother. It was also a trigger for mass awakening. That's when people really started questioning things and, breaking out of their programming due to the events that took place 2 years ago. Because when you think about how the world was in 2018, there was no 17th letter of the alphabet. There was no, awakening to the point that we do have it now. A lot of people were still under the program, right? They were still programmed, heavily programmed. And so I believe that everything happens for a reason. The universe makes no mistakes, guys. So every time the dark side does something, the forces of light counteract it with something else that will benefit the people in the long run. And so I do believe that the shutdown, right, due to the plan, I'm not going to mention it, forced people to go within to do some critical thinking, and then of course to do research. And then that's when you notice this huge explosion within the collective of humanity, where all of a sudden everyone worldwide was talking about what's really going on, guys. People were actually not scared to speak about the truth anymore, because there was a momentum that was just like a snowball effect. It was just taken off due to the the fact that people had to be forced to stay home, not go to work, and then that's when people started reflecting on things. That's when the critical mind took over the programming mind, I believe. But yeah, everything happens for a reason, brother. And
Love it. Yeah, absolutely one of the best decisions ever, leaving that relationship, 1,000%. Ishmael, which kind of leads into my next kind of topic, and it was on Monday Night Football. We had one of the players from the Buffalo Bills go into cardiac arrest. Okay, it had been noticed that he had a, let's just say, injection about two weeks prior to that, and we know what kind of poison that was. Okay, are we going to start seeing a kind of a mass side effects of what happened to those who did take that medicine, if you know what we mean?
well, brother, to our surprise, it's happening already. Hundreds of thousands of people worldwide are getting blood clots. They're getting respiratory illnesses. They're getting cardiac arrest. A lot of them are having conditions like this that they've never had before. All of a sudden, healthy people are no longer healthy, and no one is reporting it. What they're doing is they're sweeping it under the rug. Okay, so it's already happening. I hear it all the time. I'm very intuitive. I know it. I feel like a lot of people out there are developing these sudden ill health, conditions because of what happened. And I think that unfortunately, it's probably that number from hundreds of thousands will probably go into the millions pretty soon, because the nanobots that are inside people's vehicles are multiplying, and they're reassembling, and they're taking over tissues, they're taking over systems, nervous systems. I hear reports of people going crazy, people hearing voices in their head.
Right.
It's crazy, guys, and that's why I believe that the solar flash has to happen soon, because that's the only thing that's going to nuke that. That's the only thing that's going to neutralize that. For those that were coerced, right? For those that were, forced to take it. It's just so sad. It's sad that they don't report it first and foremost. But yeah, that was a perfect example. I heard about that football game, by the way. Right. I heard about what happened, and so that was just an example of what's happening, but on a larger scale than just a football player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I know we've asked this question before, but I want to ask it again and get your input on it. Those who were forced to put food on the table for their family, and they were injected, and they did have the medicine. What can they do to help alleviate those side effects, so they have the best opportunity available to have a healthy life?
Okay, so while I was at the Red Pill Convention a couple months back in November, the end of November, I stumbled upon a person who developed an actual natural remedy that is supposedly cures everything, and it works. I've read all the testimonies. I went on his website. I met people who were on the product for over a month, and they seen the difference. It even cures, I'm not going to say tumors, cancers. I know we're going to be on YouTube, so I'm not going to say anything. But there is a supplement out there, guys, that completely works, that detoxes all the metals in your body, including the poison of the nanobots, And I'm just going to put it out for people to see what it is. This is it, guys. Does
it say folium?
Yeah, folium.
Okay. Ishmael, if you could send me that information. There it is. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I think the light's a little bright, but send me the information for that, and I'm going to link it into the description of the video.
I will. And I started taking this product, and it's been like a little over a month, and I noticed the difference. It's from the chemtrails and stuff. We get these particulates, these nanoparticulates through the foods that we eat, through the shampoos that we use, for everything. It seems like everything's been poisoned for that reason, right? But this stuff completely takes all that stuff out. This stuff right here.
Not medical advice. We're not doctors. We just play them here on YouTube, of course. But do your own research. Absolutely epic, Ishmael. I appreciate that so much because we have family members that have taken it. Our aunts, our uncles, cousins. And of course, we have a lot of Soul Tribe family. I'm reading the comments like their daughter, son took it. So definitely, what we want to do is give everyone information. Do your own research on how we can help alleviate those side effects. 1,000%. Kristen, what is your take on this?
Definitely agree. Detox, especially. Second hour of this show will definitely get into hot topics like that for sure. There's so many things that people can do to get it out of their system. So I don't think it's not hopeless. They can be helped for sure.
Absolutely. But it's only remedies that completely contradict I don't want to say the word, the cartel, right? The prescriptions that everybody gets.
Yeah.
No, you're good, Ishmael. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, so everything that conventional medicine offers through the pharmaceutical cartel guys is suppressing this stuff. And I actually talked to the guy who formulated this stuff. This stuff is 400 times more powerful than turmeric. It's amazing. And he was telling me that ever since he developed this patent, he's been at war with the conventional medicine establishment. And the only reason he was able to bring it out was because of the fact that the Alliance have been gaining the upper hand. But it took him a few years, guys, to even bring this out to the public. Yeah, he was being suppressed, just like all the other natural remedies, all the holistic medicine. It's always suppressed, guys. And they don't want the real cures to come out. They don't. No. They have no choice. The light's winning, and all this stuff's going to come out. And in this new world, heaven on earth, we're not going to ever use chemical drugs. We're going to be using natural homeopathic medicine, frequencies, med beds, stuff that is of a natural resource, right? Stuff that comes from the earth, herbs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I agree. I was having a conversation with someone last night and absolutely agree 1,000%. I'm not going to use the doctor's name who they canceled and then arrested and then, axed, if you know what we absolutely 1,000%. That's exactly what they do. Ishmael, here's my next question. Where was I going with the oh my gosh, I hate when I do this.
It's all good.
When it comes the first arrest, that's what it was. I'm like, oh no, don't do it. All right, first arrest. When we are seeing what's happening and what could happen with the side effects of right now, it's hundreds of thousands. It could be millions into the not so distant future. Is that going to lead to the first arrest being named?
Absolutely, because this is a crime. This is an onslaught against humanity, and they know that. So, like I said before in the other show that we had, Dr. Doom, he's on the shit list. He's the top priority on the shit list when it comes to bringing these criminals to justice. So yeah, it's definitely on its way, guys. The Alliance knows, the war against humanity. It's really a war against consciousness, and it's also a war against DNA. It's also a war against our divinity, guys. Because ultimately, these negative whatever psychos, they don't want us to activate. They don't want us to become these physical angels that we were prophesied to become at the end of the millennium, or what they call the end of the cycle. What I mean by the end of the cycle is, we are at the end of a 5,000-year cycle, not only a 2,000-year cycle from Pisces going to Aquarius, but we're also at the end of a 25,000-year cycle, which is a bigger cycle. So right now, as I speak, all these cycles are coming into culmination. And yes, 2012 was the mark. But again, our calendar that we use is like 12 years off, 12 years off from the original calendar, with the original timekeeping system, because we use the Gregorian calendar. That's to why we have leap year. So that's why nothing happened in 2012. But again, when you fast forward 12, 13 years after 2012, any day now. So
That makes sense. I agree with that 1,000%. We are not in the correct year, using the correct
No.
calendar 1,000%. Kristen, do you have any questions for Ishmael before I get to some more of these other questions from the Soul Tribe? I want to say the Soul Tribe, the chat is absolutely on fire. I love it, you guys. It's high vibration. I love it. Keep it up. Our Guardians, thank you so much for squashing those trolls and having my back. Shout out to all the Guardians out there. Thank you so much. And of course, we have the mystic galactic warrior Ismael Perez here with the Soul Tribe. Kristen, do you have any questions, or where would you like this conversation to go from here?
Yeah, I want to know what you think about astrology. How off do you think astrology is, since the calendar is off? You know.
Well, astrology is a divine science. It's definitely something that I believe in. You know, I've always believed in the esoteric sciences. I've always believed in numerology, tarot, astrology. They're just it's a way of tracking things in the cosmos based on the alignments of revolutions. You know, planets going around solar systems going around bigger suns, so on and so forth. So it's a way to track where we are in the galactic season. But furthermore, it's also a way to track, like, you know, as simple as a menstrual period, as simple as a moon cycle, you know, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, and it's very accurate. You know, the problem with our current calendar, which is called the Gregorian calendar, is that it is not operating according to the natural timekeeping system of the cosmos, as is the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar and the ancient calendars were in alignment with the natural timekeeping systems of the cosmos, which has a lot to do with the 28-day moon cycle and 13 months. So we're actually heading back to that, guys. We're heading back to the 13 months, 28 days. So the fact that the Cabal took over, you know, thousands of years ago, they definitely implemented a false timekeeping system in order to confuse us as to when this great solar flash was going to take place, among other things. You know, how many times they tried to reset history, you know, erase our records. Tartaria was erased from the history of our books. You know, the Kub-arons and all these amazing civilizations that existed within the last few thousand years. And they even tried to erase Atlantis and Lemuria from all records. But, you know, luckily all that stuff just resurfaced within the last few years. And so, yeah, I definitely believe in astrology, and I definitely believe in the original calendars that were used by the indigenous and spiritual cultures of the past, because they had a better understanding about the natural cycles of the universe and where Earth's place was in relationship to those cycles, whereas the Gregorian calendar was designed to confuse us from that.
Yep. Agreed. Yep.
I love that. I love that question, Kristen. I love the follow-up and the answer, Ishmael, 1,000%. Kristen, what other questions would you like to ask Ishmael this evening?
I'm just doing them off the top of my head. Oh yeah. What about protection? What do you do for protection against, how it is being on YouTube and how, trolls can come at you and stuff. What is your best remedy for protection?
The best remedy for protection is maintaining a high vibration. Mm-hmm. Because when you're vibrating high, when you're maintaining a high frequency at a certain hertz, there's no way the dark entities can penetrate you. There's no black magic, no black goo. There is no negative energy that could penetrate you when your frequency is at a very high elevated vibration. So I would say frequency, by keeping your frequency high. And what do I mean by that? I mean daily meditation, connecting to God, the higher power, source, whatever you call it. Take 20 to 30 minutes a day to just do that spiritual inner work, that spiritual quietness. Spend time in nature. Our power lies is in direct proportion as to how much we connect with Mother Earth and the elements. Okay, so all that helps with protection. Keeping high elevated emotions, being mindful of your thoughts, of your emotions every second of the day. If you're happy, happiness is a choice, guys. Despite of the circumstances, you have the choice to be happy or not. Life is always going to throw wrenches, but again, it's all about your reaction. So as long as you're mindful of your thoughts and your emotions, then you are vibing high. You keep vibing high, guys. It is the ultimate protection. Of course, prayer works. Meditation, shielding yourself with white light, blue light, invoking the presence of Archangel Michael, all that stuff helps. But the primary way of protecting yourself is keeping your frequency at a certain hertz. I think it has to be over 500 hertz. because there's no archon energy, no AI, no reptilian, no black magic that could penetrate, I believe, 530 hertz and above.
Yeah,
And if you study the scale, I forget the name of the scale, Hawking's, the scale, I think we reach those rates of vibration through what? Through daily spiritual devotion, staying happy, and having peace at all times. Being in that peaceful state of mind.
yes.
And that's how we keep the vibe high. And that's how we stay protected.
Perfect answer. Yes.
Man, I love that, Ismael. I love it, and our Soul Tribe is loving it as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You are definitely dropping the hot content this evening, and we love it 1,000%. Great questions, Kristen. Do you have any more for Ismael, or do you want me to take one from the Soul Tribe?
Yeah, I'll hand it to the Soul Tribe. Yeah, maybe someone who doesn't have a super chat. Let's let them have a chance too.
I know they have, and I have been doing that as well. Here's one from Louise Hamlin. She wants to know, there's a group of friends who have questions about the positive 3D timeline. Ismael, please do maybe not a deep dive, Ismael, but maybe clarify or speak in terms where maybe those who are just now watching or tuning in could kind of grasp the concept. On this timeline, about 90% of the questions are about what's going to happen to the homes and personal belongings. So maybe talk about how this kind of timeline would look, or however you want to answer it, Ismael. I'll let you have the mic.
So the question is, they want to know the difference between a third dimensional reality and a fifth dimension?
Yes.
The difference is this. In the third dimensional reality, like I said earlier, we're limited to perception. We're limited to only a 1% of the entire electromagnetic frequency. And so as we ascend into the fifth dimension, it's almost like our consciousness, again, is going to expand. And when it does, it's going to be a lot better. We're going to have memories as to who we were before we became human. We're going to reconnect with our fifth dimensional galactic avatar, because we do operate different avatars, guys. A lot of us star seats down here are actually also operating on galactic motherships. We're doing a lot of work up in space and in the galaxy. We just don't have memories of that, right? But as we ascend into the fifth dimensional Earth, we're going to merge with that aspect of ourselves, and all our memories are going to be flooding. Now, as far as like your house is concerned, I guess this is another. This is probably related to the question. People want to know, is my house still going to look the same when the ascension takes place? I would say, whatever, because we do have a fifth dimensional self operating in a fifth dimensional reality, which is the heaven on earth, Terra, planet Terra. I believe that your circumstances are going to change. If you go into the fifth dimension, you're definitely going to see yourself in a different environment. But for those that go into the fourth dimension, it's still going to look the same. It's just going to be, the Kabbalah is going to be removed. It's going to be a better world system. And the only difference is that those that go into the fifth dimension they're going to have access to more realities. They're going to have access to more abilities. That's the only difference. But they're still going to be able to pop back into the fourth dimensional reality, where most of the Earth Terrans that are non-star seeds are going to be going into.
I love it, Ismael. Okay. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Chẳng thể quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không còn mơ em anh nhạt màu. Anh chỉ cần mơ đâu em mai. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá cho bên mơ em không mơ anh. Anh một đêm mơ chỉ cần bên em không được cần nhớ và chỉ có em không còn nhớ và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ có mấy em ở đây và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mãi mãi. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu không em như mà mơ mộng. Anh như đêm mong cầu và mưa bên em ngủ sầu. Chắc có mãi mãi để mà mơ chỉ có bên em nhưng là khó mơ. Mà đã dài em một bên ai anh không mong gì hơn chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau mà đừng em đâu anh mơ em một đêm bên anh có em ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu ôm anh.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away. Cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile